All right, man. We finna do my favorite anime. I don't know where we gonna be at. We gonna figure out where we gonna be at. But like, comment, subscribe, press the notification bell. Yeah, man. Boy, switching it up, man. Boy, like to do different things. Like I said, I do different things. React to different things, man. Not just sports or specific things, man. Ten little known,
In the
ten,
Dragon Ball
10 little known
franchise, it seems like
facts
there are very few things
about
Goku can't do,
Dragon Ball
like
Ultra
eat a
Instinct.
reasonable amount at a buffet. Today, we're
Just
going
had
to
an
take a look
argument
at one of
about
his
the new
hands-down
Vegeta
most impressive
transformation.
feats, mastering
And
Ultra
Ultra
Instinct.
Instinct
Even
is
though it's easy to
Vegeta
get caught
stronger
up
than
in how
him now.
awesome this mental state is in battle, there's a lot of little details you may have forgotten. Plus, if you're not
Finally
watching the
got it.
sub and the dub, you
Vegeta finally
probably
got
didn't
his
even
own
notice that one
opportunity
aspect of Ultra Instinct is
to be
totally
the
different between the two versions.
to have the shine. Taking Goku over any anime character.
Our friend Goku is always doing his best to learn new
Alright.
techniques to help
So we
make
gonna be
him
over
the
here.
most powerful fighter in his or any other universe. So it's not surprising that his attempts at mastering Ultra Instinct have been a huge focus in Dragon Ball Super. But let's not forget where we learned about this mental state from in the first place, since it was quite some time ago. It made its debut in the movie Dragon Ball Z Resurrection F, which was later adapted into a manga during which
Didn't
the
watch
move
this
appeared
movie.
in the second chapter. And
But
let's
I
not
heard about
forget
it.
that Ultra Instinct can be credited to none other than Whis.
Whis.
Is there anything he can't do besides not look suspicious all
And
the
with
time?
Whis already
Those angels
in.
are definitely up to something, I'm just saying. But back to Ultra
Whis-
Instinct, Whis
Whis
showed it off
automatically
while
in
training
Ultra
with
Instinct.
Goku and Vegeta, although he didn't describe it by name at the time. It wasn't until much later on in Dragon Ball Super that Ultra Instinct became relevant again. We all know Whis helped teach Goku, but let's not forget that he's the one who introduced it to all of us. Most people just call this move Ultra Instinct or Autonomous Ultra Instinct, but that's far from a perfect translation. In Japanese, it's known as Migate no Gokui, which you might have noticed if you watched the sub instead of the dub. But did you know that this phrase doesn't really translate to Ultra Instinct? Migate usually means egoism or selfishness in Japanese, but in this context, it can be
Right.
translated to mean
Gotta
body,
add.
to win or surpass, and hand. Basically, it refers to the body's instinctive reflexes conquering the hand's deliberate movements. So, with all these different interpretations, there are a few translations to Migate no Gokui which are all more accurate than Ultra Instinct. It would be
Right.
more accurate to say mastery of self-movement, secret of selfishness, or the body moves on its own as it wants. But
Right.
all of those are a lot longer and not quite as catchy as Ultra Instinct, so it's not surprising that this phrase didn't receive a direct
Yeah, man.
translation.
Ultra
Instead,
Instinct
the word
sounds way
instinct
better.
was used to replace the concept of a body acting of its own accord. And
Definitely.
I'm gonna go ahead and assume the Ultra was just added to make it sound cooler, which it definitely does.
Right.
As much as I hate to admit it, the world of Dragon Ball
Ultra
is
Instinct,
decidedly a
Make the
fictional
body
one.
react
But
at
that
the
doesn't mean
fullest.
that many of the concepts aren't grounded in reality. Sure, real-life martial artists can't fly around by manipulating their ki, but the idea of this kind of energy is incorporated into martial arts. Even though Ultra Instinct is portrayed as being nearly impossible to master, it still has its roots planted in an actual technique. It's comparable to what we might call a flow state. This is what happens when you're concentrating so intently on something that you lose awareness of space and time. It's like when you arrive safely at your destination despite the fact that you remember singing along to the radio more vividly than driving your car. In martial arts, the term mushin, or empty mind, is used to describe this kind of state. It's even said that accomplished martial artists are able to enter this state where their body reacts without them needing to formulate a plan or assess a situation. Obviously, it's way less intense and dramatic than we've seen in Dragon Ball Super, but
Yeah.
developing intuition and honing instincts is
we
a real
walking.
practice. Earlier, I
And
said
we
that
be
Dragon
walking
Ball
through
Z
that bit.
Resurrection F is the first time we saw Ultra Instinct being used. But there was an incredibly similar technique utilized during the movie Dragon Ball Z Super Android 13. Even though Goku has a massive arsenal of moves to choose from at this point, he isn't above falling back on a good old-fashioned Spirit Bomb. We've seen him do this in Dragon Ball Super when he faced off against the mighty Jiren. When Jiren was able to hurl Goku's Spirit Bomb right back at him, he
Oh, one of the best
miraculously
Spirit
survived and
Bombs
was
ever.
pushed past his
That boy
limits,
did
thus
not
enabling him to
complete
achieve
that bit.
Ultra Instinct. This was
Definitely
a
did.
momentous moment, but it reminds me of something that happened during Super Android 13. At
Turn
one
that
point,
boy into
Goku
Ultra
charges up a
Instinct.
Spirit Bomb, but absorbs it instead of throwing it. It almost seems like this is an early form of Ultra Instinct that ended up getting refined as the series progressed. One of the reasons Ultra Instinct is so interesting is because it's so difficult to master. Sometimes things just seem to come easily to Goku, much to the frustration of his dear close friend Vegeta. Sure, this helps highlight
But he
how
finally got a
crazy
move,
strong
though.
he is, but it's always more exciting to see
Turning
him
out
work
of
hard
anger.
and overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. But in the manga,
That
we
boy
got to see
dodging them bitches.
another immensely powerful being struggle with trying to pull off Ultra Instinct. Beerus, the god of destruction. Yes, Beerus may be able to make decimating whole planets look easy, but even he can't just automatically use Ultra Instinct.
See, I just
In the
had an
Dragon Ball
argument with
Super
somebody
manga,
in the
the gods of
comments saying they're
destruction hold
saying
a brief
Beerus
exhibition match,
and
which means we
Vegeta
got to see
can-
Beerus do something
they can
besides
get
sleep,
it.
which
No,
is
they
always
can't,
exciting.
man. He got
Of course,
anger
everyone
issues.
decides to gang up on Beerus at one point, but he manages to successfully evade them using Ultra Instinct. But let's just say he
Right.
hasn't quite mastered it yet,
Exactly,
since he
he ain't
eventually
mastered
gets
it.
caught off guard. The match isn't a particularly long one, but it helps emphasize just how difficult it is to successfully use
Boy,
Ultra
definitely
Instinct.
ain't mastered. He said that in the Tournament of
Seeing
Power.
a god of destruction fail to master
Definitely
a technique
said
is
that in the
surprising,
Tournament of
but there
Power,
are few
regular.
humans in the Dragon Ball universe who can even pretend to keep up with Saiyans and other non-human entities. No offense to folks like Krillin who try their best, but it's like comparing apples to super-powered alien oranges. But let's take a moment to appreciate how powerful Master Roshi really is. Sure, he's a lecherous old turtle hermit, but he knows how to fight, and we see more of this during the manga. In the comics, Whis reveals that out of all of the mortals, Master Roshi is the closest to being able to use Ultra Instinct. And he doesn't even
Definitely.
know it. When he fights against Jiren, his many years of martial arts experience help him react to the battle. He's able to dodge several blows based only on his instinct. Even though he didn't win, it was still a really impressive display that tied into Ultra Instinct. Roshi might not actually have Ultra Instinct, but clearly he's picked up a few tricks in his time. There are a lot of anime fans out there who have
Definitely.
strong opinions on watching dubs
People
or
who
subs.
don't like Master
Some people
Roshi,
can't
that's how-
stand the
that's how
idea of
they-
having to read
that's how they shut 'em
subtitles,
up
while
quick.
others feel too much is lost in translation with dubs. Whichever way you watch the show is fine, but if you stick to one format, you should know that you're missing out on one aspect of Ultra Instinct, no matter whether you're a sub or a dub fan. Everyone knows that the fights in Dragon Ball Super aren't exactly quiet. Even if it wasn't all for the thuds and thumps, there's an awful lot of screaming going on. It's not uncommon to hear characters shout and roar with exertion during fights, and of course, Ultra Instinct has its own battle cry. But the twist is that it depends on which version you're watching. In the English version, it sounds like more of an Ozuru kind of roar, while the Japanese version has a more echo-like quality to it. Just like every other aspect of the show, there are fans on both sides of the issue.
Yeah, I heard
but there
that.
are some dub fans who believe the sub scream is better, and vice versa.
I like listening to the
Poor
Japanese
Vegeta
version.
tries so hard, but he just can't help but fall short of his goals a lot of the time. Even worse
Not
is
no
that
more.
Goku tends to make pulling off super advanced
Not
techniques
no
look
more.
easy. But when it comes to Ultra Instinct, it's possible that no amount of hard work, power-ups, or training in a hyperbolic time chamber will help this Saiyan prince. Mastering Ultra Instinct means relying on the body's natural instincts instead of letting your mind step in and analyze the situation. And is it really a surprise to anyone that Goku's pretty good at turning his brain off? Seriously, we all love the guy, but you have to admit he's as dumb as a brick. Like a superpowered brick. How hard is it really for Goku to stop thinking for a little while? Vegeta, on the other hand, has a much more analytical mind, and therefore it's much more difficult for him to let go and let his instincts take over. In the anime, Whis says that it would be exceptionally difficult for Vegeta to learn Ultra Instinct due to the fact that it doesn't fit in with his fighting style. In the manga, Vegeta even confirms this by saying that Ultra Instinct simply goes against his nature. This might very well be a
Yep.
technique Vegeta will never be able to use.
All the people who think
If you've
Vegeta
ever
got
taken
it
a look at
and
Akira
can get
Toriyama's
it, nope.
concept art for Ultra Instinct, you'll
Nope.
probably notice that it seems slightly familiar. In an issue of V-Jump, fans saw that Toriyama's vision for Ultra Instinct was pretty much just a recolored version of the Super Saiyan God form, but with slight differences to the eyes and hair. Both forms are incredibly powerful and come with a finite
I mean, he
timeline.
not
The
skinny.
comparison of Ultra Instinct and Super Saiyan God is actually pretty interesting, considering that Goku wasn't a fan of Super Saiyan God because it wasn't strictly his power. Ultra Instinct is a good contrast since it features Goku solely relying on his own body's power and instincts. So even though these two moves look the same in the concept art, they're actually quite different.
Yeah, man, big
By
difference.
now, you've probably gotten the idea that Ultra Instinct is incredibly powerful. Even
Yeah.
gods of destruction like Beerus have a hard time mastering it, let alone the average mortal. But even though the fact that Goku can pull it off is impressive, let's not forget that
Oh,
it
yeah.
doesn't make him invincible. Sure, this form helps him
I
get
remember that. That
close,
shit had
but
me
he can
like,
still get
no.
injured. Even the most advanced
Walking
techniques
through that
aren't
bit, I'm
perfect,
like,
and the secret
no.
to shrugging off Ultra Instinct can be surprisingly simple, like when
You
Goku
baby.
bit Whis. Maybe Vegeta could master Ultra Instinct if he just started incorporating biting people into his strategy. Moments like these show that this mental state isn't perfect, even before the time limit runs out. Ultra Instinct can definitely make people appear more invincible than they really are. I'm always a fan of giving Vegeta another reason to be jealous of Goku, so needless to say, the more Ultra Instinct, the better. What do you think about this technique, and should it be incorporated more into the series, or left on the sidelines? Tell me what you think in the comments,
man,
and don't
Ultra
forget to
Instinct,
subscribe to
man.
CBR. Bye for now.
I want to see notification bell, roll to 400, roll to 1,000. 2 more subscribers to 400. Y'all boys playing, y'all girls playing. It's all good. I ain't tripping.